I think he's there. I got a remote. Awesome. I do that. I'm assuming you want to shut me off. Yes. Yeah, I know what that's like. That's no problem. I don't know if he's nobody sits in his spot. Then you could.
Yeah, she's good there.
I'll be up this. It's sort of like our point. You get associated with it. So. I don't know. It might be good to email.
I've lost weight.
Because I know I say shrimp all the time. All right, let me know when you're ready. Ready? You been live? I was let us know that. We've been talking about TJ Maxx for the last 3 minutes. Oh, I just looked at
You're free to go.
Meeting call to order. Today is Tuesday, July 15th. This is a continuance of July 8th meeting due to technical difficulties. Jay, will you lead us in prayer?
We ask for the wisdom to make good decisions, to speak with confidence and listen with compassion, and to work together to create a better way of life for the people of West Warwick. Amen.
Amen. Jay, will you lead the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Dennison,
Here.
Councilman Latati,
Here.
Councilman Messier,
Yeah.
Council Vice President Williamson. Here. Council President Goodman.
Here.
The quorum on record.
Before we get started, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping rules. Just make sure your cell phones are on vibrate. Rather large crowd again here tonight. Let's make sure we respect each other and no yelling from the audience, and there will be public comment at the end of the meeting. As long as we have no technical difficulty. Thank you.
Approval of change order number 1 East Natick Interceptor project. Move the resolution.
Sorry. Who's second, Jim? How are you?
Okay, good evening. Well, so I just wanted to, I like show and tell. So this is the lining of the, lining of the interceptor that we've been doing. And if you have traffic problems on Providence Street, you can blame me. Because you always do anyways. The change order, as you may recall, we issued, the council sewer commission issued a contract with National Water Main to clean and line the interceptor, what we call the East Natick interceptor. In doing so, we would have to bypass the line in order to complete the lining. That's like a sock of material. And then what they do is they use the UV light and it cures it. And it becomes as hot as it gets cured to the pipe. So therefore you don't have to excavate and you don't have to do heavy excavation or disturb the roadway. Well, in doing so, we had to bypass the line in order to accomplish this. The line, there is a parallel line along Providence Street, which runs in the backyards of all the properties. If you go into the intersection where I call it the fishbowl, on the other side, it runs behind all the properties and then comes out at Monsignor DeAngelis, just to give you an idea. And that was the original sewer line back when I first started in 1980. And that was replaced with the inverted siphon, which we're cleaning, inspecting right now. It was supposed to be fixed because it was leaking at the time. That's why they did the interceptor. Well, when we started the bypass, it started to overflow. So the first option was to look at cleaning the line. And because of the restrictions in the line, we started at Monsignor DeAngelis and worked our way back to 760 Providence Street. It took them 5 days to clean the roots. It was an extensive route. And that, if you recall, there'd been odors periodically in that general area. And that was because it would overflow through the cracks in the pipe and through the manholes and seep into the ground. So that could cause some of the problems. So after the cleaning was done and all the roots were removed, we started the bypass again. Then we found all of the roots had caused cracks in the line. So what we had to do was we lined the section of the 30-inch in the manholes in there. Now the gentleman at 760 was so pleased because he does not have any leaks. When it had heavy rains, his backyard would be saturated with overflow. So that's all been cured, and this change order reflects the work that was done in order to correct that action. It was the root cleaning and the lining of the interceptor and the manholes in there. That change order amounted to $178,550. So that's this change order to National Water Main. Just to put you on notice, when we were doing the cleaning and inspection of the line, we found out that there were two sections of the old line that for some reason, these people were never connected. I call it the grow house in the back streets, and on Market Street. Both of those areas were not tied in to the new interceptor. They were tied in to literally a dead end sewer line. It has very little flow in that first section. So after the lining, that'll be before the council, not with the change order with National Water Main, but to have an excavator contractor to put to reinstall the sewer connection for the grow house and for Market Street. Market Street would be a lateral extension. So that's around $70,000 for that potential work. But I just wanted to put you on notice as we found this issue, we'll correct this as well. And that could contribute to odors because it was a lot of sludge built up in the line.
So Jim, if they weren't connected,
They were connected.
they
They
were,
were connected to the 24 is the older interceptor. So the older interceptor started, remember when we had the break in the line a couple of years ago?
yeah,
It started there but we corrected it. We put a new line in back in the 80s. Well, those two were not moved from the old line to the new line. So their flow was very low. And so obviously solids would build up. If you had an odor complaint over the last couple of weeks in the area, that was due to the cleaning, not due to the treatment plant. Because of the material that was so old in there that we had to take out. So I want to comment on the council because this is the first time that you've approved a very valuable change inspection. Because if you recall, in December, I think it was 3 years ago, we had a break in the line. That's what resulted in us doing this work. That cost you $500,000. The year later, the second section broke. So in total, it was almost $1 million. This entire line, which is 4,000 linear feet, is going to be 1.2 million. So you're saving yourself money and putting money into the program to inspect the lines. I know it's not glamorous, but that's important. So just as I like to commend you on doing that because that's an important thing.
So Jim, quick question. When that move is eventually made to the new line in those properties, is there anything that needs to be done with the old line?
No, that's going to be plugged.
Okay.
That's going to be taken care of at that end. It'll be plugged.
So you're suggesting there'll be a change order associated with that as well?
That'll be separate, and that won't be with National Water Main. The sewer commit, the treatment plant will contract with them directly, so we don't have their overhead and profit associated with it. So, but right now, before you is change order number 1 in the amount of $178,550.
Any other questions for Jim on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
School building committee update, including presentation by Left Field and Tech Fund.
Good evening. Our colleagues from Left Field couldn't make it this evening, had a conflict with this meeting. So for the record, Justin Hopkins, I'm an associate principal and senior project manager at Tecton Architects. We're an architectural firm in Hartford, Connecticut, and Providence, Rhode Island. So we do have a presentation, also some handouts that I think are at your desk. So I think what I can do is just tell you to go to the next slide. Okay. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So would like to just start with an update on our work to date with the district and with the school building committee. Some highlights regarding our target intentions for the benefits of the plan and this comprehensive plan throughout the district. We want to make sure that we're positively impacting the educational environment at all grade levels. So while there's a significant amount of work going on in the proposed plan with the elementary schools, we want to make sure that we are providing improvements and providing enhancements at every single school. As part of this overall program, we are proposing locating fifth grade back into the elementary school system. So it would effectively restore the fifth grade to the neighborhood elementary schools. And with that, we would be providing Mazie Quinn as one of the neighborhood elementary schools, kind of returning that to a pre-K to 5, while Oregon, Wakefield Hills, and Greenbush would be K to 5. As part of that move for Mazie Quinn, we will be doing work at 30 Payne Street to locate the alternative learning program and basically provide a purpose-built home for that program that's currently at Mazie Quinn. So through our work with engagement with the district and the school building committee, we're targeting this as the highest impact at the best value. So if we go to the next slide. We are in the middle of our stage 2 submission to RIDE. The stage 2 was submitted in the middle of February. We have received comments back as well as a recommendation to go not on the spring approval, which is effectively passed, but to the fall approval of this year. And there are a couple of reasons for that we'll get into it on the next slide. But the target is to respond to the RIDE comments and get on the fall approval schedule. So if we go to the next slide and what that means for the town, if you look at the fiscal year 2025 housing aid share ratios, if we were to get approval this round, we would be in FY25 with a reimbursement rate of 64.6%. By simply deferring that approval to the fall, we will be under the FY26 housing aid share ratios, which are 68.3. So this calculated move increases the reimbursement rate for the town by 3.7%. And what does that mean? It means that for every construction dollar you spend, you're eligible for reimbursement at 68.3 cents on that dollar. So real money when we start talking about 3%, 4% differential between FY25 and FY26. The items that are on the right of the slide are just some enhanced bonuses or incentive bonuses that as we get into subsequent phases, phase 3 and phase 4, there are programs for school safety and security as a permanent bonus by RIDE, as well as energy enhancements. By statute, we're required to comply with an enhanced energy model or an enhanced energy performance in major projects. So the incentives for additional reimbursement, just by simply complying with those statutory regulations, allow for a potential additional 2% reimbursement. So these are things that we'll target pending approval of the RIDE Stage 2 submission. So we'll go to the next slide. So what are the projects that we're currently looking at? So by re-engaging Mazie Quinn as a neighborhood school, in this case, a pre-K to 5 school. So we would continue to house the pre-kindergarten program and have district K to 5 within Mazie Quinn. The first step in that is getting the alternative learning program at 30 Payne Street, which allows them to locate. We're currently ongoing with some of the design work for that, with the target of the start of the academic year in fall of 2026 to have the ALP open at 30 Pan, which would ostensibly free up any potential work that would be going on at Mason Quinn. So by getting fifth grade out of the middle school, it allows us to have kind of a pressure relief valve of some capacity issues there. And we're also targeting some targeted improvements at both the middle school and the high school, as well as projects at Horgan, Greenbush, and Wakefield Hills. And if we go to the next slide, there's a little bit of a better description of those. So at the high school, we would look at a science lab classroom expansion to help with that program, and also have additional space for some of our utilization of curriculum space there. We would be having an elevator addition and modification at Horgan. We would reimagine the media center and entry hall into breakout spaces, collaboration spaces, as well as give a facelift to the media center. We're looking at exterior window replacement at Greenbush and some entry column and sidewalk repairs at Wakefield Hills. Anybody that visits that school, upon entry, you can see some clearly needed improvements at the entry there. The numbers that are on the left-hand side of the screen, we are finalizing the cost estimates with our cost estimator. The overall aggregate range of those we're listing as between $62 and $68 million. Based on what we are seeing from the cost estimators right now, we think we're in the middle of that. And at our school building committee meeting next week, we will have those final numbers and effectively request approval from the school building committee, school committee on this roster of projects and project budgets. You can go to the next slide. So just a brief description on the two major projects that are part of the plan. 30 Payan Street, as some of you know, former daycare facility, currently vacant, town-owned. We would renovate 30 Payan in order to have 8 classrooms and more or less support the ALP, Alternative Learning Program. As part of that, if anybody has toured 30 Payan, you'll notice that all of the toilet fixtures, the plumbing fixtures that are part of the former daycare are all about 12 inches above ground. They're perfect for their intended audience. When the building started, 3, 4, 5-year-old kids. We need to conduct those renovations at the bathroom course, as well as provide finish up updates throughout the facility and more or less stabilize some of the building envelope and building systems. So light renovation, but comprehensive throughout the facility. And again, targeting that for completion at August 2026 in order to have the ALP start that academic year. Next slide. So here's a concept site plan for Mason Quinn. Additions at the western portion, the northwestern and southwestern portion of the existing building. The areas that are it's a little bit difficult to see on the screen, but there's a heavy black line that goes around the existing facility. We would be providing the pre-kindergarten wing to the southwest of the existing building and a new gymnasium and cafeteria space towards the northwest portion. So with that, age-appropriate playscapes and some site work to help accommodate parent pickup and drop-off, bus pickup and drop-off, and parking associated with it. Next slide. So here you can see a little bit more clearly the outline of the existing building in the dashed ochre line with the addition that is to the northwest and the southwest. And again, what this will do is, as we are providing the space for 122 pre-kindergarten students and 358 K-5 students, what that does in the other elementary schools is provide the capacity and the needed space for those schools to welcome the 5th grade into the grade cohort. Next slide. So a little bit about schedule. I mentioned how the ALP and at 30 Pay and Maisie Quinn are linked. Those are really the only two projects where there's kind of a critical path in terms of you can't really do work on Maisie Quinn until you complete the alternative learning program. The other items, the work at the high school, the work at the middle school, and the work at the remaining 3 elementary schools are more to be targeted at the discretion of the town and the school committee. There's no critical path for those. There are some work that we may be able to do in what we consider to be summer slammers. In other words, you do all the design work in the fall, bid it over the winter, get all your procurement in place during the spring, so you can really utilize those 2.5 months in the summer to get the bulk of the work. It's the stuff that my friend Chris does annually anyway, so it's very familiar with him. Next slide. So in terms of where we are and what we have upcoming, as I mentioned, we received comments from RIDE on the stage 2 on April 8th, and that facilitated a number of discussions about the timeline for submission and approval. And I can tell you that RIDE was even recommended our proposed approval date to be fall of 2025 in order to capitalize on that additional reimbursement. So we've had a couple of working meetings with RIDE, most recently on July 2nd. We're preparing a formal response and presentation to the school building committee for our meeting next week. And we anticipate issuing the response to comments to RIDE prior to the September deadline for stage 2 applications in order to get on the December approval. And also per RIDE, they said that we could commence, or the town could commence the design work for 30 Payne Street, provided that you're not awarding any contracts until we get approval and funding approval from RIDE. So that's in order to align with the pull schedule of making sure construction starts as close to the start of the new year as possible, so that it can complete by August of 2026. We are currently working on those design documents. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Tech?
The only other school building, I know we mentioned it several times, but our next school building committee meeting will be at the high school media center on Wednesday, July 23rd at 4 p.m. And we, in addition to what you mentioned, to review the stage 2 responses, is we're continuing to working on our bonding procedure and protocols and proposed language for fall, probably sometime October or November, the latest.
I just want to point out, we had a meeting right before this with the governor on 365, and ironically, there were 2 young children sitting behind me. And I told the little girl behind me, good luck in 5th grade. And her first response to me is, I'm scared. And she's like, and I said, why are you scared? You'll be fine. She goes, there's just a lot of bigger kids there than me. And I said, don't worry, you'll fit in next year. But the parents understand that we are working on trying to get the 5th grade out. But that one 5th grader said that right to me, I'm scared. So, we see a big importance to get the 5th graders out of the middle school and back into the elementary schools. So, any other comments, questions on tech? School building? Any questions or information you need?
So I have one, I don't know if this is for you or not. I understand the whole process and thank you for the information. I'm not on the building committee. So this gets presented. So the timeline is for this to get presented, and say it gets approved by RIDE to go forward. What happens on our end at that point? Because the money still has to come from somewhere. And that will be up to the people to decide whether or not they support the project. So what happens? So what happens? Where do we go from there?
We'll be proceeding to prepare for a bond referendum. Like I said, probably October, November at the latest. We won't have a formal stage 2 approval from RIDE until December. I forget the date, 1st or 2nd week of December. So we'll have anticipated having the funding approved. And as soon as we get that approval, we'll have the ability, as he mentioned, we'll have our construction things all ready and RFPs ready to go to jump right on, pay on street. Obviously, if your question is, what if the bond fails? Then we're not making significant improvements in the near future, short of what we have available for capital, internal capital funds.
One more question. So when this goes to RIDE, is this all or nothing? Because I know everything is done out, like, this is the plan. Are they able to say, we're not gonna give you the full amount, we're gonna give you this? Or can they take the project and say, we'll fund this portion and not that?
So our goal and our objective is to maximize the amount of potential reimbursement within those project budgets. We typically will get comments back that may inform whether or not we answer them in a way to maximize that reimbursement, either by shifting something around within the plan. However, I will say RIDE has been very supportive and they look for ways to also maximize your reimbursement. You may hear, sometimes you get the RIDE haircut when you get the funding approval. So if you're asking for 65, there may be a handful of items that they say, well, we see this as a $63.5 million total project. So typically, you're aware of those comments and what the pressure points are based on the RIDE comments. And we have enough time to respond to those in order to make sure that we're answering them in order to maximize the amount of reimbursement back to the town.
We have also.
Thank you.
We've had Ryan involved in this process. They've come to the meetings. They know that we went to the legislature for $71 million, up to $71 million. So they're aware of all those numbers at this point in time. So I'm hoping that, they see that that is the need that we have.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, even if it doesn't get done in a big bang, we can get that reimbursement as we go along.
Yes.
What's the time frame, Justin? How many years do we have to complete these other projects that we have listed out in the RIDE submission?
I believe it is 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years
So we would
from the
still-
date of the
Yeah.
signing of the memorandum of agreement. So once you get approval, there's an MOA that goes out that gets signed by the town, gets signed by the district, 5 years from that date. If there are extenuating circumstances, you can always have a discussion about getting relief from that requirement. It needs to be a compelling reason, but it has been done in other districts to extend that timeline. And if you, at the end of 5 years, if you choose to forego a handful of those projects, that's up to your discretion anyway.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you very much.
Tom.
Approval of the minutes from the June 17, 2025 town council meeting.
Move approval?
Move second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
First reading of ordinance 2025-4, amending chapter 11, motor vehicles and traffic, article 2, operations, section 45, motor vehicle restriction routes and appendix C, traffic ordinance, Manor Drive.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Move second out.
This was before you a couple of weeks ago, and it was continued for first reading. At that time, based on the report from Major Ketchum, I had submitted to you saying 69 and 85 feet. At the last meeting, you asked me to contact Major Ketchum regarding traffic or accidents in the area, and I sent you a notice that there were none. So at this point in time, this is what has been submitted. It's a decision in the council's hands. I know the chief may have some comments.
I just want to ask a question on the picture, third picture in here, which is at the beginning of Manor Drive. Sorry, I just shut down. The beginning of Manor Drive, and it says northerly and southerly. Which side of the road, if you're looking at that picture, is the northerly and southern? So
The
I
van is on the northerly side.
Huh?
The manor
Is on the
The
northern side.
manor's on the, so going down north, coming up to south. All right. Chief,
So this came from Traffic Safety Committee. Our concern from the fire department is access to the building and that first exit. It's a center hall, you're familiar with the building, it's a center hall type structure. It has apartments in the front and in the back. The front has a fire lane throughout the whole length of it. The back, we have 3 spots, one on either end, and then there's a center driveway that we can access. And with our wash, and sweep of the ladder, we should be able to get all of the windows from those 3 spots. The challenging part would be is as the ladder would be responding from Queeset Avenue, would be coming up Brookside, taking the left on Manor, and then that first spot, trying to get in there. We have in the past had incidents where it's been difficult for the trucks to leave that building. Okay, from that. That's why we asked that 6989, and speaking with Major Ketchum, gets us just past that, that first exit.
so I know there was a lot of confusion on how much parking and all that was gonna be taken away. I went out there last week, I did measure both sides, and even that driveway coming into the manor, I looked and I said 85 and 85 was what I was looking at, but legally, based upon the crosswalk, based upon the corners, this is literally 3 parking spots. It's, so, I know the first time it came before us, it sounded like the whole road was gonna be blocked off.
The first time it came before you.
It was gonna be.
It was.
It was,
Yeah.
and that's, so what I'm looking at is the 2 cars in this picture is the 2 cars that will, the 2 parking spaces to the telephone pole would be eliminated. And on the right-hand side, the northerly side, that's 65, is that 60?
That's 89.
That's the 89.
Just past that.
And I looked at 85 on both sides, because when you come out of that driveway, either a resident or the fire department, if there's a car parked directly across the street, which the 85 is a little bit past that black car that's in this picture. That driveway, if there's somebody beyond that, beyond the driveway on the right side, when they come out, it's hard to swing out there with a pickup truck. I sent the council a picture of me parked there with the 2 cars, and I think it was a red red pickup truck and a white SUV in those pictures. Now, with that there, trying to come out of that driveway, no matter who it is very difficult. So I looked at 85 and 85 all the way up, but that still realistically only takes away, that white SUV that's back there is beyond the 85. So
So
69.
85 from the corner of the.
85 from the corner, which brings that black car to be no parking.
What's the ordinance for when there's a crosswalk anyway? Like, without having to change anything, what's the typical ordinance for how far?
Supposed to stay 10 feet from a crosswalk.
So is that what it is, a 10, 15?
Depending on.
So even
Oh,
that,
okay.
you do 25 to 30 from that crosswalk, that's past that black car. So by law, it's still no parking. And I know sometimes you have to tell people it's no parking based upon law. And if there's a no parking sign up, then it's a little more easier to enforce than having a police officer come out there with a walking tape and saying, okay, you're at 80, you're at 68 feet, you're not, or you're 22 feet away from the crosswalk. I don't want to get into that. I think if there's no parking and it's covered from the crosswalk in the amount of distances, I think the amount of distances you guys have here is fair. And it's literally 1 parking spot to 3 parking spots, depending.
So that second picture really is not germane.
No, because if you look, that's well beyond the pole.
Exactly.
That's the first page, the third picture is the one you want to look at, because there's the crosswalk, and 30 feet from that crosswalk is that black car. And if you go from the corner of Brookside to where that black car is, right before that pole is actually 85 feet. And both sides is, if it's 85 feet, 1 parking length past the entranceway of the manor. So that side, and then that white car that black car straight across would be 85 and 85. And it's literally legally 1 spot.
So my question is, it's been like this for forever. So, and there have been no accidents here. So how did this come about?
Representative Nord contacted,
Just want to speak into the mic, Alan, so.
Representative Nord contacted Major Ketch. He requested that it be no parking on both sides. Major Ketchum did his job, or.
So no parking on both sides, because last I knew, and I had missed that,
The initial
that last month's meeting,
presentation
yeah.
Major Ketchum sent to me was no parking on both sides. I got that from him and I put it together.
Yeah.
We came before you that night and there was quite a bit of discussion. There was some letter that I've never seen supposedly written. At that point in time, Major Ketchum went out. I know he went out with Jay and I guess he went out with the chief. And I received a call from Major Ketchum to go with the 85 and whatever the numbers were.
So that's,
Presented
just to
that
clarify
you.
now, so that's 85 feet, I'm looking at the picture right now, 85 feet from the crosswalk heading down.
It's a little before the crosswalk where the corner is. I don't know how many.
So it's from the corner of the street
Yeah, the
Down.
picture I sent you, I have the corner there.
on the left side with the two cars.
But even that 69, 85 is right behind that car. I can tell you that car, that black car is not 35 feet.
85.
That's 25 passes.
I think the telephone pole is 90.
Yeah, well,
All right, so,
Yeah.
right, to make it
Just
simple,
to get for reference.
and I know nobody else has the picture. All right,
well, you can bring
if
it.
we're looking at these two cars right here, the black one and the white.
Yep.
Would they be illegal?
The black one would, the white one would not.
Okay, so who would monitor that? Because when I came in last week, I got here, I don't know, 5 or 6 or so. And I go through that, that's my route to come in. Both sides of that street were jammed. There was cars all the way
It's
down.
bingo night, right? It's just today bingo, well, that day was it.
All I know is there were cars all over
Mark
the
might
street.
know, I mean, Mark, is that bingo night? Yeah. I said that because his mom lives there, not because Mark goes to bingo night.
89 and 69.
So we're looking right now, what's in front of us is to eliminate that black car spot on the left
To the corner.
to the corner, and then on the right-hand side, anything?
It's a little bit past the entranceway. Cause when you pull out of that entranceway,
That's the 89, right?
yeah, that's the 89.
So we have a no parking sign there right now.
But that no parking sign hasn't,
That
no record, and if you look, if you
Goes this
look
way.
where the crosswalk is,
Yeah.
no car can legally park there anyway, because it's too close to
Right,
to the
so it
crosswalk.
would be on the entrance
So
where there would be no
one
parking.
parking space beyond the entrance, one parking space beyond the
So
entrance.
there is existing law, 25 or 30 feet, we're not sure, 25 or 30. From a
On the
crosswalk.
approach to a stop sign and on an approach and egress to a crosswalk, there is a 25 and a 30. I forget which one is which. I think it's 30 for cross.
So regardless,
So-
we don't need an ordinance, it's already in
For-
place.
For that, I mean, you could put signs up for awareness, you could paint the curbs yellow if there are
Right.
curbs.
So in my opinion, we don't need an ordinance, it's already in place, we just have to put a sign there and we're good.
These are a little
Put
beyond.
the sign there, that's
These are a
the
little
problem.
beyond.
I don't, I'm not gonna disagree with your measurements, I'm not gonna say.
No, but what I'm saying is, you said we don't have to, we can just put the sign there. You have to put an ordinance forward to put a sign there.
But there's existing law.
No,
You
Well,
just-
there's
you said
existing
there's
law.
existing law.
Because of the crosswalk.
There's a crosswalk,
but if you wanna put a sign up, no parking.
so we can't put a sign for an existing law?
The one that's there now, has no ordinance. in-
I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah.
That's not.
Number one, I am not familiar with the crosswalk. Major Ketchum raised the question with me about an intersection. And I found our statute quite interesting. It says there's no parking within an intersection. Well, I don't know what that means. You can't park in the middle of the intersection.
Right. Although, I'm sure it's there for a reason.
So Mark, question,
My advice is to make it, I think the only way you're gonna resolve this is it's up to the council to say X number of feet on the north side and X number of feet on the south side, and take the sign that's already there down. Otherwise, it's gonna be a situation where
so we take the illegal sign back.
That should.
Okay, that's a given.
That should happen regardless.
But so
Yeah.
question to both of you, I guess. That 25 feet, say it's 25 feet, you can't park. Knock away from, is that from the intersection or is that from the crosswalk itself?
Two separate.
So is that from the back of the crosswalk? Or is that, because the crosswalk is what, gonna be what, 5 feet wide?
Or more than that.
More
That
than
makes-
that, yeah.
Or 8
My
feet wide,
mind,
so it
you
makes
go
it.
from the point where you expect
People
to be able to
stop.
see people.
Okay,
So if there's a crosswalk that's 5 feet wide and you approach it, it's the footage
As soon as it stops in the direction you're
from
coming.
the closest crosswalk line to you and the other side. You know, egress or exit of the crosswalk would be the other side.
and that's already in a place that you can't do that.
That's a staple.
And that's one of
Okay.
those laws, like, if you're driving on a residential street, you are supposed to know if the speed limit is 25 miles an hour. That's one of those laws you're supposed to pass. that.
Right.
Well, it's like-
I
how do
thought
we
it
get
was
it?
supposed to be 51 feet from a stop sign. So let's take the crosswalk out of it. Is there a difference for a stop sign? So many feet from a stop sign,
It's a 5 foot difference, I believe,
okay,
So the
because the
crosswalk
stop
is-
sign
and it's only
is
on the approach.
literally at the crosswalk. It's not beyond the crosswalk. When you're coming down the road, right? It's right there, Thursday, says stop right in front of the crosswalk. I think we're
I don't see an issue.
recreating a wheel.
It's, I think I mean, what I learned of this is we have an illegal sign that we have to take down. And then we already have the measurement of 20, say, if it is 25, 30, whatever it may be, from that existing crosswalk where you can't park anyway.
Right.
But it's
The
obvious.
numbers
but it's
69 and
obvious.
89 are obviously
I just-
further from.
I just want to point out one thing. It's obvious nobody's following the law there. Okay, and sometimes people need to be reminded of the law. So if we had no parking sign from here to corner and no parking sign from here to corner. Anybody who parks beyond that knows they're breaking the law, and if they get a ticket, they get a ticket.
I would assume that most people who park there
They
don't
don't know.
know.
Right.
I don't know, half of us don't even know the laws up here, like, we don't know if it's 25, 30, 15, 10. But again, we know it's between 25 and 30. I know it's 10 feet from a corner, but not everybody knows that, so sometimes you gotta put that sign up there for reminder, saying there's no parking from here to corner, to be safe. You have elderly drivers coming in and out of here. You have a fire department that's concerned with safety of entering if they have to. That is one of the tallest buildings in West Warwick that always needs the ladder truck to attend in case there is a fire up on the 6th floor. So I don't see an issue with putting 2 signs up saying no parking here to corner legally with an ordinance. I mean, it's affecting realistically 2 to maybe 3 spots, but legally 2 spots,
On both sides of the
And
road.
just to be clear,
1 on each side.
with an existing state law, we cannot erect a sign without an additional ordinance?
Yes.
That makes no sense.
No, you.
So,
Wait, we can or we can't?
Normally, I don't agree with a lot of the legislature stuff, but that one does make sense. Because just like David had mentioned, you've got a no parking within X number of feet of the crosswalk. And you park there. The law says you can't park
You
there.
know, there's a law out there says you can't spit on the road,
So
you
that,
follow it? Again, if somebody knows about
How
it,
do you know that?
I know that, because it's one of those stupid ones that pop up.
Yeah, we should be able to put a sign up.
No spitting. Guys, we do it in parks, we do it everywhere, people's ordinances of no smoking, no drinking, because they have to be reminded.
But the signs were separate ordinances put up, or we just put the sign up, so I'm not.
It's all by ordinance. It all has ordinance numbers on it.
7 years ago, the situation came up, and the reason why you're now doing the way it is was a matter came up where a traffic violation was submitted, and the attorney went in and said, you've got no ordinance. At that time, when it came back to me, I dealt with the town clerk. She went through and pulled out all of the traffic ordinances she could find. We then created Appendix C, which is now our traffic code of ordinances. So that has become the law, and I've got the form that you get every time. And when you pass one of these, it goes into the code of ordinances, just like when you called me about the question about when you dealt with on I went down, there was nothing on Manor Road. So I knew that if at some point in time a council,
We probably have, I wouldn't even begin to guess the number of stop signs that probably don't have ordinances in this town,
Quite a
which
few.
is crazy, but I
I
could guess what ward they're in.
know some.
If you want to check the box that you learned something, it's no parking within 8 feet of a fire hydrant, 20 feet of a crosswalk, both ends, and 30 feet of a stop sign or traffic signal.
State law.
State law.
30 feet of stop sign, sir?
30 feet of a stop sign.
69 and 89.
So realistically, you're losing half that car, not the whole car, based upon the 69.
And you said, yeah, I mean, realistically, there's probably a lot of spots in town where we could add signs. I mean, it's like pulling up to an intersection. Technically, you're supposed to stop. You don't always need it. Some of them are redundant stop signs. You're supposed to stop when you get to an intersection regardless.
No, I mean, we have this all over the town. I have it in Phoenix in the little square. I have a pickup truck that parks at the corner. And he's actually got his nose and his rear end in the road, and it's not even a parking spot. I mean, we've had to address that.
Yeah.
We've had to address, I use Douglas Street as a perfect example. We put that in, no parking on one side, it's a one way, and we have somebody parking there every week, we have to enforce it.
Some are a little
So,
more
and
egregious.
we have been enforcing.
And some are a little more egregious than others. I get that.
My concern with just using the crosswalk would be that, 20 feet from that crosswalk would allow one more spot before that entrance, and that would make it a little challenging to get into that. Okay,
So I think we're covered by the 30 feet, chief. We got 30 feet from the stop sign, which is
that's
at,
on the other side.
no, it's not.
No, what is on the other side?
It's on the other side.
But
It's
the,
just-
but no, but the crosswalk would still fit the 20 feet though.
Yeah, 20, it would be 20 feet, but I think that someone would still try to park.
Cause I don't know, I can't guess what that is in between there.
So
That's
that's
less
Those
than-
measurements came, again, I believe, in our discussion, were, so that we could access that first driveway. We could make the corner of coming from Brookside onto Manor, and then make that quick right into the, parking lot there.
Which
Get that first
which looks
spot.
pretty tight in and of itself. I bet
It
you
is.
would prefer to have that a little wider.
I
Yes.
I would prefer to have that a little wider. Further down, the truck has a time to straighten out, it's wide enough for cars to be parked.
In theory,
inside. Further
in theory,
after
like that, if that, I mean, again, this isn't us, because it's not our building, if that bush was remaining vacant, like, there's probably an issue with the parking situation inside the manor itself.
I don't think there's enough spots, yeah.
Right, and even the
Yes.
turn in, like, they should probably open that up, because I see the bush there, and they could open that up, which would make it on their end too.
So the picture I sent you guys with the white SUV, and there was a red pickup truck behind it. Yeah, I did email it to everybody after last council.
Yes.
Last council meeting.
Right.
The telephone pole's not even in the mix at 85 feet that I measured. So, because if you look, that white car that I sent, the front of that nose of that car is 85 feet on the northerly side, which is the manor entrance side. And then on the other side, the telephone pole's not even in the mix. So that black car, well, I had that at 85.
Yeah.
And and I took pictures of it, and that's not even, the telephone pole's not even in my picture. So take that telephone pole off, that's less than,
What's the pole, that 120 or 90? It's one or the other. I don't remember what, it was 120 or 90. 120? Okay.
like I said, you're losing one legal parking spot in all this.
But that's not a legal parking spot. He's illegally parked. The way I see it, this black car's here.
Oh, he could be 20 feet, I can't tell what this picture.
That black car is there every day. Ticket that guy once, he's not gonna park there again. We don't need an ordinance to enforce state law. That's my point.
But they're looking for something in addition to state law. What the traffic safety committee has said is that they would like to, again, originally came to us, both sides, no parking, which I would not agree with. I don't think that makes sense. They're coming back and saying 89 feet on the northerly side and 69 feet on the southerly side. If Chief Barone has concerns, I'm gonna side with that. I mean, that's just.
I agree, but the law's in place.
But again,
Not
as I said
69,
earlier, some people need to be reminded of that law.
There's no better reminder than a ticket a day until they get the message.
One thing that this actually does bring to light is that we have a parking problem in Arctic, period. I mean, there are all sorts of no parking signs that nobody knows how they got there. There are, we need to figure out how, if we want more people to come to Arctic, how we can provide parking for them. So that's a bigger project, but it clearly is something that we should address.
I don't know whether he's here or not, but at the planning board meeting, one of the planning board members, Malonzi, he's well versed in parking problems in Arctic.
Well, he has a business here, so I assume he would.
And also, he's done a detailed study of the comprehensive plan. On what should be done. You know, if you're talking about looking into it, I would definitely.
Yeah, he stood up and talked at the last, not the meeting we stopped, but one meeting, okay, this is still the last.
So-
He was here at the last meeting, ready to, present a position on it. So he knows what you're speaking of.
Well, I think it's something, it's a bigger project that we need to undertake.
Regarding the businesses.
But you're also, I mean, this is have to be one crosswalk in one area.
That's correct.
If we looked at all the other crosswalks that are in town, we look at all the other parking. Like you said, nobody knows about it. We're gonna find that people are right up against the crosswalk. How are we gonna, we're gonna address all those issues? So if we're gonna address one, we have to address them all.
Well,
I'm hearing tin in my brain, by the way,
what's-
so you know.
Yes,
Well,
we
I'm
have
looking
one-
at,
yes,
right, I
we are,
understand
yes.
this location, but I'm also looking at,
What
I'm also looking at the ordinance
But what
as a
the
whole
chief-
we have to follow.
What the chief is suggesting removes that problem. The chief is saying to you, my trucks need 89 feet and 69 feet. He's not taking into consideration crosswalks, stop signs.
He doesn't care.
He's taking in the safety factor of the manor and his trucks. He knows his trucks. He knows what has to get in and out. To me, I'm a scrivener. Whatever you tell me to put down for feet. But if you're asking me to, why that, I had a discussion with the chief. This is not one where somebody arbitrarily said, I think the first one may have been an arbitrary decision when they said both sides. And poor Major Ketchum, gets a report from a town official, then he does what he's gotta do.
No, I understand.
So it comes back to him, and at that point in time, he does the right thing, and he goes to the person who needs it, and that's the chief. And the chief submits a report. And so my personal feeling is, well, it doesn't matter to me whether you tell me to put it 20 feet from a stop sign or 89 feet. It's just a report that I will submit, but as far as a presentation to you and why I would suggest you do it, my suggestion would be to take the chief's advice, because he's probably the only one in this room who can speak with authority on it.
Any other questions from the council before I open it up to the public? Any public comment on this matter? Just come on up, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mike Kowalski. I'm from Coventry, 7 Wildflower Drive. Here to express some concerns regarding the proposed ordinance aimed at restricting parking where local businesses have been for over 52 years. Employees, customers, voters, and visitors of the manor, they routinely park there. This issue not only directly threatens local businesses' operations, but also conflicts with the town's own comprehensive plan, which was formally adopted in 2020. This was given dated June 28th by the town planner, Marilyn Showman. Specifically, section 6.4 states that the town's intent to improve the availability, access, and overall condition of public parking areas in Arctic. This ordinance contrary to that commitment. The accident data, we just heard that there has been no accidents. It's actually been confirmed officially. I've personally witnessed fire trucks, police, and ambulances coming out of this tight entrance. Just so everyone's aware, there's only room for one car to come in and out of that. It needs to be extended if you really want to have it correct.
Well, I just want to point out, if they extend their driveway, then you just cause more parking issues because now you can't park in front of their driveway if they extend it 10 feet.
There is a fence that blocks it.
Yep.
There needs to be some kind of
There's a
engineering
crosswalk
in
there.
that part.
There's a crosswalk there, that's the problem.
Okay. Who directed this ordinance to be drafted and under what authority?
What's that?
Who directed this ordinance to be drafted under what authority?
So I think it was said, it came from a representative who actually was at the manor and they brought it to his attention and then he brought it before he sent it to the safety committee and the safety committee reviews as they always do. And they have determined that, yes, it is deemed unsafe.
Why did this bypass JMS here?
We have a
I
process.
can't answer that.
Now,
Okay.
you
We
said,
have a process that was set up several years ago about how they get to you. Go to the traffic court. Traffic court directs me to submit it to you with their recommendations. And that's how it got to you, and where this ordinance comes from. The ordinance requires traffic was done in this, not the traffic court, traffic committee.
And if I wasn't privy to all the information, but I think Councilman Messer, you can speak on your behalf, but I think this has been going on since April, and I think he was included in the original emails.
It was not. I was brought in at the 11th hour, but that's neither here nor there. At this point, I'm up to date on what's going on, but I was not brought in the initial conversations.
Back in June, it appeared that none of you were aware of this ordinance was even in motion. Why is it getting written and submitted without your knowledge or proper presentation before the council? The process bypasses the spirit of public input and appears selective, potentially constituting a due process issue and an ACLU concern. If it's disproportionately impacts certain businesses or individuals. How many tickets have been given out in the Arctic area and how many cars were towed? Will we be enforcing these no parking signs that are already up?
That's a question for the police department.
So why are we putting up or thinking about putting up new signs?
Well, first of all, like I said, the black car that's in the picture, I know you don't have the picture, is illegally parked.
It is not.
30 feet or 20 feet? 20.
20.
There's been so many numbers thrown out.
30 can stop.
20 feet from that,
30 from the stop.
I've taken these measurements over 10 times.
I've taken them twice, and I think I was asked why I'm just measuring it.
Okay. I think it's a bit ridiculous to be putting up signage and if we can't even enforce the ones that are there. I think there's much, as Mary Beth said, a much larger parking issue globally in the Arctic area, such as the 3 municipal lots that I know of that are non-conforming lots. Are we gonna be leasing these lots? Are there leases in place? Is West Warwick paying for these lots to be snow plowed? Are they maintaining these lots, West Warwick? The situation suggests selective enforcement. I think unfair targeting and conflicts with your own adopted plan and goals. I strongly suggest you think about this situation before you vote on the ordinance.
Thank you. Any other public comment on this matter? Yes, Al.
When it comes to the defense of the council. Every ordinance that you get regarding traffic begins with a statement that the town council, town of West Warwick, on the 16th day of August in 2016 enacted an ordinance number 2016-10 as amended, which ordinance to codify appendix C of the traffic ordinances. Said ordinance as amended provided appendix C. Said ordinance further provided the establishment of a traffic committee, which committee will report to the town council regarding addition or deletion of traffic ordinances. The traffic ordinance has made such a recommendation to the town council regarding the addition or deletion of a traffic ordinance. Notice having been given by the traffic committee to all persons affected. The amendment will not take effect until 10 days. So what this council just did was done exactly in accordance with an ordinance that was passed, that is the law of this town, on August 16th, 2016.
Thank you, Rob. Brett?
Thank you.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Thomas Norrie,
state representative. I live at 225 Fairview Avenue in Coventry, and I'm the state representative for District 25, which encompasses this area. So April 17th, I received not one but 2 phone calls telling me that residents had a difficult time pulling out because of the close proximity of the cars to the exit on the back on Manor Drive from the Housing Authority. And again, for the record, 20 years as a police officer, 10 more years as a traffic control officer for the town of Coventry Police Department. So I have over 30 years of traffic safety, directing traffic. I have a certification from the Rhode Island Department of Transportation as a traffic safety officer as well, which allowed me to perform traffic safety and direction. So I went down there, I took a couple pictures of the 2 cars parked on either side. Again, noticed that they were rather close, and anybody trying to pull out of that may clip one of those cars, knowing that it's the house.
What side are you talking?
I'm talking on the building side, and I can.
On the man, on the side, the building side of the man.
Sure,
Okay.
and I will provide you 2 pictures.
So they will be over here. Okay. Whether- Really? Thank you.
So I took those 2 pictures on the back, it's April 17th. What I did was I sent an email to the chief, and I just said I received a complaint of this, and I wanted to bring it to his attention. That was it. He told me he would have Major Ketchum reach out to me. Major Ketchum reached out to me through an email saying I've been delegated to get involved in this. And what's the issue? And I explained to him that anybody pulling out on that side, plus the high shrub that you're talking about on the brook side, causes difficulty from anybody seeing, so that across the street, at that entrance and at that exit, that makes it very difficult for anybody to pull out and not strike a car parked on the opposite side of the road. And then I thought that, again, my professional opinion as someone who has spent 30 years with traffic, that's a safety issue for that swing right there. That was it. That's all I asked for, to be looked at, not the whole street. I think that's ridiculous, right? That's not what the original complaint was. It was to the corner from that exit on both sides of the road, needs to be looked at. I received an email back later on saying that the traffic safety committee had met. They came up with a plan. I didn't look at the plan. I didn't need to look at the plan because the plan's not for me. I left it in the hands of the professionals that the municipal code for the town of West Warwick has set forth. And that's the fire chief, the police chief, DPW, town manager, and Mr. DeFiore. That's the traffic safety committee. That's it. And then I was told that there was a problem going forward with the ordinance, and it was going to be held for the next meeting. No problem.
And for the record, the council gets an email from the traffic committee, what's on the agenda.
We do.
Yes, we do.
I would,
I don't want.
I never got the email.
In the past, we've typically got emails before,
It would be helpful.
we definitely get them after, but this one, I was not, I was away the week when this happened, and I remember I wasn't aware till after, and that's why it was put aside. Typically, the four of you can speak, typically you made aware of issues before they go to the traffic committee, most times, correct?
Yeah, that's pro, should.
Typically, I was not in this situation, that's all I said. At this point, I'm fully aware of everything that's going on, but I was kind of the 11th hour at this point. We did meet after the event at the high school. We did go down there, but at that point, it was kind of the 11th hour.
We did, but you also have an email saying you've been having difficulty with receiving emails or problems with your email.
That while I was away that week, I was having a difficulty, yes, but I was also away. You do have my phone number. We've contacted each other many times, and you didn't shoot me a text. I feel like lots of times, all of us we text each other, what's going on? Hey, there's an issue in the warrant. You did not text me.
Again, I didn't.
Okay.
I sent a proper email, which I thought was to the chief to have that issue looked at because of that that improper parking that was there that was causing a hazard. And that was my immediate concern, was that it was an immediate hazard to the residents.
Okay.
That's why, so again, put it in the hands of the traffic commission, that's it. And yes, under your traffic ordinances for your municipal code, you, under 11-78, you mimic state law. So not only is it state law, but it's also municipal code in the codes for West Warwick. So all the things that were stated, the 30 feet from a stop sign, 20 feet from an intersection, all those things are also reiterated in municipal code as well. So to match 3121-4 Rhode Island General Law. So that's been my involvement. I didn't look at the ordinance. The ordinance is not my concern. The footage is not my concern. I brought to the town's attention a complaint from 2 residents on that day. I've also spoken to the director of the housing authority, who supplied a letter as well, saying that he too feels that there's a parking issue at that exit over there, and has supplied this letter, which I will submit to the council as well. And again, it's very simple. He agrees that there's a parking problem, multiple cars parked over there, and it creates a problem, and it has been, and it has in the past. But that's it. So I'm gonna submit this letter as well. Again, whatever your professionals have decided to do is fine with me. I'm addressing the concerns of residents who live in the building, who are elderly and disabled, and ask me to do so. That's my job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tom. Any other public comment on this matter?
Is there anybody online? Not with their hand raised.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how to raise my hand on this thing.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Derek Reed, 19 Peters Lane.
Oh, there you go.
So I've been sitting here listening to this, and it's like round and round and round. At the end of the day, there sounds like there's no big significance to this, other than somebody had trouble pulling out or pulling in, whatever the case may be. But at the end, after all this conversation you just had here, with no tickets being issued there, with no accidents being issued there, why is it all of a sudden a problem is number one. Number two is because the state rep got a phone call or an email from somebody, for him not to go directly to the council first and then go to the chief first, I think is not the proper procedure. But sometimes, you know, the state rep, in my opinion, overstepped his lines. He should have went to the councilman first and let the councilman deal with it. And yes, I'm defending Jay Messier this time, and I don't know why, but I am. But he definitely should have gone to Jay Messier first and let Jay Messier handle a situation in his ward, not overstep and go right to the chief. To me, that sounds like, I don't know, there's just a little something weird about that. The other thing I got is, you got businesses over there, you got events that happen at the manor. I want to ask Tommy Norray, on voting night, is he going to try to make an exception so his people that have come to vote have a place to park? Or are we going to have a police officer sitting there writing tickets because they're parked in all the wrong places? Then I got a question for the chief of police. We're going to put up a no parking sign or whatever we're going to do. We're going to enforce it. We're going to teach people lessons. Well, I can write down a whole list of lessons in this town, including parking cars on sidewalks, not in front of sidewalks, but on sidewalks on Main Street, on Pulaski Street, on some other streets. I can also tell you that if you want to write some tickets, I guess we can't park anywhere near the gazebo because you got crosswalks around that gazebo. So if you're 30 feet from a crosswalk, I'd like to see some tickets written over there. All through Arctic, you got crosswalks, and we're parking right up to the crosswalks. I mean, this is crazy. It sounds more like a targeting issue to me. It doesn't sound like it's a huge issue. It's more like we're trying to help somebody out. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Tom, one more comment?
We're allowed to.
Tom Norray, 225 Fairview Avenue, Coventry, Rhode Island, State Representative for District 25. So I'm going to present you a letter to the State Traffic Commission that I have. Give me 1 second here. Where again, I guess I should have reached out to my local representative to address this issue. But I had a constituent from Wildberry reach out to me, who walks every day from Wildberry whenever she needs to go to CVS. And when she got to the area near the gazebo, there was no right turn on red for that area, so she could safely walk across the crosswalk. Again, I went down, I assessed the situation as somebody who's got a history of doing traffic. I didn't reach out to my local council person again then. I reached out to the State Traffic Commission. I actually submitted a request for them to look at it. The State Traffic Commission investigated it and deemed that I was correct in my assessment, and they put up no turn on red signs hanging from the wires there, and they also placed a sign in the ground, because again, it's a safety issue. So again, this is not a one-off where I've targeted any one business or any one individual. This is, again, pictures are here to provide.
That's a different matter, so.
It is, but
Thank you.
my point is, I'm trying to make is that I've done this repeatedly. I can provide you the letter where I just testified on the State Traffic Commission, because again, we have Legion Way where there's concern. And on the 7th of this past month, I believe you got a receipt, or this July, you received a letter that the state is actually going to enhance the no entering over here with sign. I testified on that as well, because again, I agree when I received information that this was an issue on behalf of the town. So I am actively doing what I was elected to do, and I show up when people ask me to. And if I'm wrong for doing that, then you're all probably wrong for answering your constituents when they pick up the phone and call you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I'm back.
Eric?
So my only question is, the street that is in question for this problem behind the manor, is it a state road or a town road?
Town.
Okay, so he just told you about things he did on the state road, but this is a town road, so I don't think he has any jurisdiction to go above the local councilman for a town road. Am I wrong?
Anybody, Derek, you can call the police department and ask them to put it in the safety committee meeting. Any general person from the public can ask for this to be looked at. It doesn't have to be a representative, it doesn't be a councilman. I've had
So
constituents.
so maybe, in my opinion, the state rep should have contacted, should have told a constituent to contact the traffic division. That's all I'm saying. It just doesn't sound right. That's all I'm saying.
And I think I can speak for myself. I know I had a conversation with both state rep and councilman and said, you two need to get together and meet and go over this. And I think they came to some sort of conclusion, and last I knew, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, you guys met, you went out there, you came to an agreement of some sort of no parking and to bring it forward. Am I
So-
right or wrong?
We met and we came to what we were bringing to the council. That is correct. What we were gonna come. what we were
So what happens on election night?
Well, same thing, Derek, if you look at the I know you can't see the pictures unless you're online, looking
Oh,
at
I'm
the
sure I'll
agenda,
find them.
but again, it affects one spot legally.
All right, so all along the wooded line, the wood line there, none of that's gonna be no parking other than the 30 feet from
None of
the,
it. It's 30 feet from, 69 feet on the left-hand side to the corner, which is where the black car is, if you're looking at the pictures online. And on
Yeah.
the right-hand side of that road, it's 89 feet, which is one parking spot past the entrance of the driveway, which makes it safe for anybody pulling out of a driveway.
Good.
So ultimately, two spots, and I don't even think it's legal. I think you have to stay so many feet from an open way of a parking lot, so. And I don't have that law in front of me.
I'm just concerned for the purpose of, I listened to Kevin Malonzi at the last one too, is, you guys are trying to promote business out in Arctic. You're trying to get people to come to the theater. You're trying to get people to come visit the downtown area. We're working on rebuilding downtown. There's restaurants starting to pop up and everything. And the more restrictions you put out there, the less people are gonna wanna come here. And then the more parking tickets are given out, the less people are gonna wanna come here. So you need to take that all into consideration.
Thank you.
I don't disagree. Again, a comprehensive review of parking in Arctic is needed. That goes beyond the scope of what's before us tonight.
I can offer one comment on that line. At the last planning board meeting, the town planner stated that because of the time limits, she's beginning to review the update of the comprehensive plan.
And not only that, I know I've met with the planner and Mark and other developers here on it. I introduced parallel parking instead of parking straight against the curb, but using the East Greenwich side road method of parking on parallel, where you can fit 9 cars in a 90-foot space or 3 cars sideways in a 90-foot space. So we are looking at different things, and I know I proposed that to Maryland with the development with the post office, and there are ways to go about it, but again, I feel people need to be reminded what the law is. So if you put the signs up, then the police department, the police officer who's there, whoever can enforce those signs.
Just make sure they're reminded throughout the town, not just that one spot.
And Derek, I totally understand that.
All right. I'm going back to work.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote.
On what?
On the ordinance that's before us.
On the 89 and
And the
69?
The ordinance that is
it's been
before
moved and
us.
seconded. Yes,
There still needs to be a second reading with this, right?
yes.
So I don't feel comfortable voting on this. I think we've went way off track with everything. And I'd like to look into this a little bit more before I vote. But I do want to say something, and I know to mention what you had said, if Tim was here, we would have been shot down probably a half an hour ago, because we've gotten way off track. And I don't think it's right that as an elected official, I agree with Rep. Noret. You get a phone call from a constituent, your job is to investigate what that constituent says, to listen to them because they have a point. And that's your job, that's our job. And if we weren't, we wouldn't be doing our job. And at that point, you bring your situation to someone else who can possibly handle it. I'm not saying I agree with this ordinance or not, but I feel very uncomfortable because I've had to do that, to come up to the podium and to defend my position as an elected official when I've done nothing wrong. That's not right, that's not cool. And nobody should be made have to do that if they weren't doing anything wrong. So I'm not gonna vote tonight. I want to chew on this a little bit more, and we'll see what happens in the next meeting.
Mark?
So I just want to say that I also agree with Rep. Norrie. When a constituent reaches out, you react. The best way you know how to get their situation resolved, and I appreciate that from the rep. Is Tom gone? Is he still here?
I don't know.
No. But I'm also gonna lean back onto something he said, and municipal code mimics state code. This is already in place, minus a sign. This is the law, as it
Not
sits
the
now.
89 and
Not the
69.
89 and the 69.
Not the 89 and the 69, but that will more than cover that, according to all the measurements I've been given tonight. That black car is the concern. That black car is within 30 feet of a stop sign. So, for those reasons, I'm a no vote on this.
Jay?
No.
Mary Beth?
I'm missing something, so I don't think that's true. I don't think that covers it. Am I mistaken?
Right now, what is before you?
I know 89 and 69, I get
That's
that, but
it.
it has nothing to do with the car and the 30 feet.
There's
and all
nothing
that
to
other
do with
stuff.
it. This is strictly an ordinance that says no parking 89 feet on the north side, no parking 69 feet on the south side. That's it, pure and simple, nothing further.
And we had our police chief say that those, chief, I don't know if you're still here, those are the numbers that you guys came up with that you need to get your
Fire
truck
chief.
in there.
Chief
All right,
Barone,
fire
yes.
chief, yes, I meant Chief Burrow, I'm sorry.
Yes. So yes, so that is from that first driveway to the right, from the right. as you leave.
Your guys went out and said, to get our ladder in there,
Maybe Kevin went out
safety
and did
concerns,
that.
that's what we need.
Yes.
I have to go, yes, I mean, that's a safety concern, I'm not gonna go against that.
We're gonna vote yes, but it's 2-2, so that means it's a no and it doesn't get a second reading.
That's it. Pay it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Al.
Town council acting as a liquor commission, request from 99 Fletcher Dos LLC doing business as Joy's Liquor for a Class A liquor license for the premises located at 90 West Warwick Avenue.
I'm under the impression this is to be continued
Yeah.
till August 12th. I move that we continue this matter to August 12th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nice, have it, move it to August 12th.
I'm recusing myself from business licenses, just number one, so I'm gonna step away from that one.
Request from Fusion Latin Caribbean Cuisine for an indoor-outdoor amplifier loudspeaker permit and theatrical performance and shows an exhibit license.
Move the request.
Second.
Moving second, I'm guessing this is the only.
How we doing, guys?
But could you just state your name and address for the record?
Anthony D'Amato, 61 Lonsdale Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island.
How you doing? So I see you're looking for an indoor-outdoor amplifier loudspeaker permit.
Right.
Why outdoor?
So Mike Nardella, the owner of the plaza, if anybody remembers the old Silver Crystal, what it looked like, that's what we took over. He built a beautiful outside patio. So we're just thinking a little bit, maybe a one-person band, a two-person band, something small, something light, maybe in the weekends, nothing late. You know, it'd be a good asset, good attribute for West Warwick, something different. Nothing, our cuisine is completely different out of this world. We're excited about that. We just thought maybe a little live entertainment, you go for the community.
Outdoor, huh?
Have you, so we had a meeting about this.
Yep.
Brian, did you watch the meeting? Or
I didn't get
I'm
a
sure you
chance.
heard about the meeting.
I didn't get a chance to watch the meeting, but I did hear things about the meeting, so I know that we're getting a bad rep because of JJ's next door.
Partially.
I know the condos over there, and I've been building this place up for 7 months, so I see what's going in and out of there. I hear the music, and I can hear the music through my walls at Fusion. So I get it, but we're nothing like that. We're a full-scale establishment, family restaurant, one-person band. I hold 4 liquor licenses. I have 4 entertainment licenses within our other restaurants. Never had a problem, never had a hiccup. So I thought it'd be something good for the community, you know, and that outside patio was beautiful. We did a great job on it, something different.
It looks great.
Thank you.
And I'm not questioning the food at all.
I forgot to bring menus, by the way.
This has nothing to do with that. It's more about the people that live around.
Right.
I try and put myself
I don't
in.
think it's fair that, you know, because JJ's is right next to us, that we're like set in that category, you know, they got.
And I don't disagree with you on that.
No, I don't-
We as a council cannot hold a business owner responsible for another
Somebody
business
else.
owner's.
And it's tough being directly next to it, because I hear the big motorcycles pulling up at their loud music. I hear the music till 1 AM. I mean, they're working till 1 AM trying to get this place up. You know, so I get it. I understand the concerns of where it's coming from. I own 6 restaurants, never had a hiccup. Like I said, multiple entertainment licenses, multiple liquor licenses. Never had a problem.
I think that the concern
We're
is,
gonna keep it small. We're gonna keep it, you know, to weekends during the day, light, nothing past 9 PM. I'm open 11 to 11, 7 days. a week.
I think the concern is not about, you have nothing to do with it. Business X is moving in. It's not about indoor, it's not about food, it's about music playing outdoors that people can hear. That's it. And that could be, again, Business X.
I think the traffic on Weesett is probably louder than my 1-person band on that outside, you know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a deal breaker if we don't get it. We're opening tomorrow for a soft opening, by the way. All family and friends are welcome. Thursday, we're doing our grand opening.
So question, real quick question. I can't seem to pull my packet. I only have the agenda. The question is not about the opening, and it's not about having an outdoor patio, correct? On this,
No.
So that's okay. It's about the music, having music outside. That's the only thing.
Correct.
Anthony, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm struggling mightily with this one, because you're in my ward.
Yeah.
And I do plan, no matter which way this goes, I do plan on giving you some business.
Thank you.
But, there's always a but, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you Oddly enough, I've been on this council about 20 months. I don't think I've received more emails from more concerned citizens than this particular incident, or this issue, I should say, no incidents. I'm all about growing the businesses, helping out the business owners, all that, but to me, it can never come at the cost of a resident.
Right.
So I'm struggling mightily with this one, just because
We just feel if we weren't next to JJ's, and we didn't have all those issues and all the
JJ's
cops being
aside.
called and all loud music till 1 a.m. Yeah, we're getting it ready.
we know we have issues, in being in my ward, we have issues with JJ's.
Right.
That's not part of what we're talking about here tonight. It's not part of my thought process with this.
Yeah.
That's a separate situation.
Yeah.
And should something need to be done in terms of enforcement or whatever, then we've got folks in town that can do that.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, but think about it, nobody's doing it around us. Fresco has that beautiful outside patio. Nobody out there playing the guitar, the light music, something different.
the other thing is, they've got that little patio, but they don't have a loudspeaker license. And I take you at your word. I
Yeah.
really do. When you say somebody with an acoustic guitar with a little microphone and lights, it's,
Yeah.
I get that, but we can't control that through this permit. There's truly nothing stopping you from putting Motley Crue on the, and letting it rip.
Which you would like.
I would love it.
You would
I would
love it,
love
yes,
it. Just
yeah.
give me
I
call.
could do that Saturday night if it
Yeah.
wasn't. What about the inside?
That's a different story. That's not this.
That's
right?
why I kept saying outdoor.
It's indoor, outdoor on the project, you know,
But
so we're looking for
just-
both.
Yes, we could just
Right.
give the inside license, not the outside. license.
I would wholeheartedly support an inside form of entertainment.
Okay.
If you wanna have a little.
Like I said, it's not a deal breaker for us. We're excited to open, who's in the amazing guys. Bye.
Well,
So it's not a deal breaker,
Well-
you know, we just figured we'd try. Thought it'd be something cool and different for the area.
thank you for actually having the attitude that you do, and we have gotten a lot of discussion about
I
it,
heard.
and it will.
Glad.
And I can understand if I lived there, I'd probably have the same concerns, so thank you for the attitude and the willingness to move forward without that, so
Yep,
that's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other public comment on this license? On all three licenses?
Just so we're clear, we're not,
Oh, we should call that one, okay, that's good.
but this isn't stopping, if we say no to this, it's not stopping an indoor.
No.
You'd have to
we have
amend it.
I gotta amend the, we'll amend the,
Okay.
once, yes,
So we can do that, so.
Yeah.
Do that, huh?
yes.
Come up, state your address, name and address, please.
Brenna O'Keefe, Queesit Meadows, who I live in the townhouses behind. And yes, the whole plaza is very loud. I think I spoke last time about the Perfect Puppy, about the dance company, about the traffic on Queesit. There are 80 units in my residence. There's about 80 units, I think, in the condos across the street. We're just asking for a break here. You know, I don't necessarily have a problem with inside music, but the doors would have to be closed, so we couldn't hear.
And that's another thing, JJ's, they keep the doors open, trust me, I live on Lonsdale Street right there, I own Peter Plus Mediterranean Grill across the street. I can hear them from my other restaurant across the street.
Yeah.
You know, the motorcycle, loud music, you know, that's just the type of crowd it is, and they keep those doors open. You know, our doors will be shut, you know, we invested 200,000 in this place, I don't know if you remember what Silver Crystal looked like, you know, we spent a lot of time on
So
this.
you guys, so the entrance to the
Did you see the
patio,
patio?
yeah,
Yep,
how,
house sliding doors.
so the
and then I
sliding
have-
doors
yep,
would be
and I-
closed.
Correct.
We
Yep.
go outside.
Just hold on, if you want to come up to the microphone and ask a question, you can trust the council and we can ask the owner.
Do I have to answer any questions?
Yes.
Just address us and we'll ask the question.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Council. My name is Svetlana. I live in the condo association right next to you. Please, it's very nice to meet you. I saw your menu. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I
Nice
love
to
the
meet you.
Caribbean team, the Lion team. Spanish is my second foreign language. Love it. The menu was fantastic. Something watermelon drink was really good.
White came up with that, thank you.
However, our because we have so many people here from our condo association, it's not because partially probably JJ's,
Yeah.
but we live here. I work from home. I'm sorry, I can't have that music. I want to be able to open the window in the summer and not hear the music.
Totally agree.
I apologize. Fully supported. I love all businesses. I'm definitely gonna come try out. I will take the businesses on the plaza. I'm sorry, it will decrease the quality of my life. that music out the reason. And we ask you to keep the doors closed.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That was the game plan anyway.
Thank you.
Doors were made.
We were here last week, we have so many people from all around the association, the council already heard us, like, it's nice to meet you, it's nice to hear your part.
Thank you, appreciate that. But
Any other comment on this license? Just come on up, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, I'm Joanne O'Grady. I'm also from Remington Pond. And my concern after I left, and I really appreciate your cooperation too, is the outdoor patio itself, although it has nothing to do with the amplifier, the voices come across, I'm not sure if you're aware. And there'll be liquor served outside, I believe now, which is different than JJ. Even though bringing JJ's up, they have the door open, but they're not outside actively drinking. So I am concerned about the patio and the people, and I noticed the other day, there are trees around the patio area, which is great because it protects your folks from hearing that, but it doesn't protect us at all. And we will hear your people talk.
and the only thing I can say to you is that, like I said, 7 months I've been working on this.
Yeah.
They are bad. They're drinking. They got cheers.
Oh, I know.
So they, you know what I'm saying? They're buying drugs.
But, and that's the back, not in the front. Your people will be right in the
They
front.
just stopped them from staying out front, smoking. Mike
Yes.
Cardell, the owner of the plaza, did a great job, no smoking signs. When I came in, he said, absolutely not. And they've been doing good.
Right.
They go out back.
Yeah.
They're not out front.
Yeah, no, but where I'm coming from is from your deck, where you have it outside your
Yeah, that's
patio.
okay.
There will be active drinking out there with the dinner. And there's a way, an entrance from the patio into the parking lot. What will be done to try to prevent people from walking from the patio area where it has access to the parking lot, which further comes into our area? Because we definitely hear the conversations from anybody outside, you know, and what are your open hours? I don't think that.
11 to 11.
11 to 11, okay. So that there'll be.
And you say drinking, just, we are not a bar, not a sports bar, we are a full scale, sit down restaurant. Please feel free to come take a look and see what we did in there.
Yeah.
This is a family establishment, it's gonna be a lot of kids. Tomorrow is soft open, everybody come,
Right,
and you'll get a feel. Really,
and those are my concerns.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Any other public comment?
I prepared a little something to say. Good evening, town council.
State your name and address. for the
Oh.
record. Sorry.
My name's Adam King. I own a condominium over at Remington Pond. So I'm here tonight to express my strong opposition of the application by Anthony Demeta. I'm sorry.
Tomato, close.
Yeah, okay. Doing business as Latin and Caribbean cuisine for an indoor license for amplified loudspeaker theatrical performance shows and exhibitions. First, I want to be clear, I fully support business and diverse culture contributions that are bringing to our town. However, this particular request poses direct threat to the peaceful enjoyment of my property and the well-being of my tenants. And it sets a concerning precedent for our neighborhood. My condo is within 200 feet of the shopping plaza. Right now, I have a young family renting my unit, a mother, father, and small infant baby. They moved here because it's safe, quiet community where they can raise their child, allowing amplified music and performances, both indoors and outdoors, so close to the residential property, will undoubtedly create disruptive noise, especially during events or evenings and weekends when families expect peace and rest. Excessive noise will reduce property values. With this license, if this license is approved, it's reasonable to expect regular loud entertainment and travels far beyond plaza boundaries. As you know, noise pollution has direct negative impact on nearby homes and values. It makes renting harder, drives good tenants away, and discourages prospective buyers from investing in our area. As a homeowner, I've worked hard to maintain my property and keep reliable tenants. This type of commercial entertainment is simply incompatible with the residential character of our neighborhood. This is the difference, there is a difference between indoor dining music and outdoor amplified performances. Background music inside residence is normal, but outdoor loudspeakers, amplified performances and exhibitions mean unpredictable, high volume events that as neighbors have no control over. Once this license is granted, it is extremely difficult to enforce limits on volume, hours, or frequency. Even with conditions, the reality is the disruption will fall on us, the surrounding homeowners. This proposal will impact our community's quality of life. Our neighborhood should remain a place where families feel safe and comfortable, not where they're forced to deal with late night noise, parking congestion, and possible rowdy crowds. Once word spreads that the plaza is hosting outdoor shows and traffic, litter, and potential for loitering increases as well. This is not what our area is zoned for. In closing, I urge you to deny this application. Please consider the families and homeowners who have chosen this area for quiet and safety. Please protect our property values, our quality of life. There's plenty more suitable locations in town for amplified outdoor performances that wouldn't interfere with the daily lives of nearby residents. Let's find a fair balance between supporting small business and respecting the rights of neighbors and to join the homes and peace.
Thank you. Any other public comment on fusion? Hearing none, I'll take
I would like to make one more. Yes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Linda. I live at Remington Pond. I just have to say, the gentleman, I forgot your first name, or didn't hear it. And thank you for saying all that you did. I have to say, I thoroughly agree. And a lot of the points that you brought up about the peace, the quiet, the way we live, how we live, and how it would be affected. I think you brought them up very, very nicely, so I appreciate that. And it's very nice that I haven't met you. It's nice that you're opening a restaurant. We sort of want to keep it. I think it's okay. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What was your name? Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Hearing none.
What exactly are we voting on?
So we would need to amend this resolution if we were to, as written, it would be an indoor and outdoor license.
Right.
The fact that Mr. D'Amato was willing to, and somebody said, once it's happens, you can't look at it again. This is an annual license that will actually have to come before us, so we will look at it again. I'd like to amend the resolution to allow indoor music and not outdoor music.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded for amendment. All in favor on the amendment only, and then all in favor on the amendment?
Aye.
All right, now for the license itself. All in favor?
Move it.
Yeah, you move.
That was the amendment. We amended it, now we're moving the
The
amended
license forward.
resolution.
I'll
Yes.
second it, the
Moved
motion.
and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Good luck, and you have plenty of people here that can advertise the Fusion Restaurant on Felisa Avenue.
I forgot the menus.
And if there is, if there is,
Should have brought the watermelon drink, is what you should have brought.
Check the Facebook page, it's all on there.
and if there is an issue with neighbors who are there. I'm sure that Mr. D'Amato will be approachable, and we are dealing with people, so, I'm sure, I don't know, you said you live on Lonsdale, and you have neighbors as well?
Yep.
So I think,
We got young kids. Same boat.
and, he hasn't even opened yet, so let's give him a shot,
But I am tomorrow, so everybody come by.
Good luck.
Thank you guys, have a great night.
Request from Jesus King International Ministries for an amplifier loudspeaker and theatrical performance shows and exhibits. License for an event to be held July 13th and August 17th at 6 Washington Street.
Did we allow them to do the 13th? Since
I
it's coming going.
It's postponed.
Did they postpone it?
No, we went to, I don't know if they did.
Oh.
should have.
Yeah. Anybody?
Anyway, I'll move the request.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Any public discussion on this license? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
A request from Riddle Me This Mobile Food Establishment license.
Move the request.
Moving second, any discussion? Any public discussion on the griddle? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Request for Felix Apollonia for reappointment to the planning board for the term to expire July 2030.
Move the request.
Moving second, any discussion?
Yes. So due to my waiting for a decision from the Ethics Commission regarding something they issued about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm going to abstain from L01 and L02 just to make sure that I'm not in any type of violation.
Understood. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Request from Kevin Malanti for reappointment to the planning board for a term to expire July 2030.
I'm actually going to recuse myself. Kevin does business with me, so
Okay, understood.
just an abundance of caution.
Make a motion to move the name of Kevin Malanzi for reappointment to the planning board.
Second. Moving second, any discussion? Kevin's been here numerous times, he even talked to us and addressed concerns, so still a good addition to the planning board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Resignation from Anthony Parenti from the West Warwick 250th Commission.
With regret, move the acceptance of the resignation.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
New business resolution authorizing payment for the services of police navigator from the opiate settlement fund.
And actually, I'm going to recuse myself from this as well.
I'm gonna move the resolution.
Moved in.
I'm sorry, second.
Chief.
Hi, good evening, Council. The West Warwick Police Department has entered into a contract with the Providence Center to provide the services of a full-time mental health clinician to work within the West Warwick community. I'm requesting that we utilize so-called opioid settlement funds as an authorized expenditure to fund our mental health and substance abuse clinician for the fiscal year of 2026 in the amount of $116,411.
Any questions for the chief? I will say this is a huge asset to the police department on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
It is, and you know, the fire department also, you know, sees the benefit and you know, our specific navigator has done a wonderful job reinforcing what we're trying to do in the community and even assisted the school department as is needed. So she's definitely a valuable resource for our community.
I'm on record as saying we probably need more than one.
I would agree with you, yeah.
But it's good. I know we had used some of the funds from when we had the COVID, our COVID opera funds at that point. But yeah, definitely good that those opioid funds, because I know when we initially, when the opioid lawsuit came before us, we were saying we hoped that some of that money went towards something just like, something like this. So I think it's great.
Any other questions for the chief? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Request from the police department for the purchase of a Chevrolet Tahoe in the amount not to exceed $58,708.
Move the request.
Second.
Chief?
As part of the police department's 10-year capital improvement program pertaining to the police vehicle fleet, I am respectfully requesting that the town council consider approving the purchase of a new patrol supervisor's vehicle. Funding for the vehicle should be broken down as follows: $20,000 from the police capital fund and $38,708 from the police detail vehicle fund. We're requesting that we purchase a Chevy Tahoe 2025 from Liberty Chevrolet of Wakefield, Massachusetts. They are a Rhode Island State Master Price Agreement award holder, and they currently have the vehicle in stock on the lot ready to be picked up.
Any questions for the chief? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Request from the police department for the purchase of a SWAT team and related training equipment in the amount not to exceed $41,285.50.
Move the request.
Second.
Chief?
Council, the West Warwick Coventry Regional SWAT Team remains committed and ready to provide protection and service to the communities of West Warwick and Coventry. The team is highly trained and well equipped to respond to critical incidents
and provide logistical and personnel support in other law enforcement activities in both jurisdictions. I'm respectfully requesting authorization to purchase the following list of equipment to replace outdated, end-of-life, and expired equipment, as well as training supplies, which are vital for the protection of the members of this regional team, as well as to enhance training scenarios. Without listing each one, their tactical helmets, ceramic plate carriers, the actual vest for the plate carriers, belts, gas masks, and ammunition cartridges. Items A and B, the tactical helmets and plates, are from Survival Armor Incorporated, a sole source provider, which is the letter is attached to the memo. Items, the plate carriers, the battle belts, and the gas masks are from Walls Incorporated. They're a master price agreement holder, and the document is attached to the memo as well. And the ammunition cartridges are being purchased from AAA Police Supply, who is also a sole source provider of this ammunition. The letter is also attached. Funding for this request will be the police detail expense account.
Any questions for the chief?
Chief, I have a couple of quick questions. The regional team, is that made up of, I assume, officers from both West Warwick and Coventry?
That's correct. Half of the officers, approximately half of the officers are West Warwick police officers, half of them are from Coventry Police.
Does this amount represent half of what's needed? In other words, is Coventry sharing in the cost?
No, this is for our members, and Coventry has their own funding process through Coventry. There is some equipment that we buy together, but this is personal protective equipment for the members of the West Warwick, half of the regional SWAT team.
Perfect. I figured it was something like that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Resolution awarding support funds to the West Warwick Veterans Council in the amount of $1,500.
Move the resolution.
Move in second, any discussion? Not?
This is an annual request for a donation for the nonprofit, as the council recognizes the need to support the West Warwick Veterans Council with their mission to engage and support our veterans and their families through various civic events and activities.
And we do budget this.
Yes.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Approval of a request for a sale of surplus vehicles on gov deals.
Move the approval of the sales surplus equipment.
Move in second, Mark?
Just a formality, part of our homeroom charter that our fleet maintenance folks receive formal approval. There's 6 items that they're looking to put on gov deals. Looks like 2 from DPW, 3 from police, and 1 from the fire department.
Any questions for Mark?
That continues to work well for us compared to.
It does. We
Yes.
clearly
Yeah.
make more money than we would have surplus the old fashioned way.
Is that an auction type situation or we just?
Online,
This,
auction with a
Yeah.
minimum price and
What do
minimum.
we get it for the 2004 Kia?
You never know.
I'll start the bid, put it out.
Listen, I've seen backhoes go for $500 that now that we're using as gov deals, it's getting 5,000 and 10,000 versus the $500. So
And that money that we get, that goes back into the general fund, or that
It
designated?
goes back into capital for those particular departments for a future need.
revolving fund. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Update on Unit Drive Lane Acquisition Project with U.S. Department of Agriculture.
I'll give my version. Tim had a little better version, but in his absence. So we received their draft memorandum of understanding on June 18th, which we reviewed and met with the United States Department of Agriculture folks at their Warwick office on Wednesday, July 2nd, to review and discuss in person. The solicitor and I reviewed that draft and sent them approval on July 7th to proceed. It now goes back to their headquarters through their approval process. And they said that would probably take at least 30 days. I don't want to speak on their timeframes because I'm not sure that they're overly confident in their procedures or the timeframes based on Washington, DC. But essentially, once that's formalized and signed by all parties, that'll stop the formal process of the appraisals and the title searches and the environmental records being assembled. The Those are all relatively quick. And then they'll go ahead and make an offer to those 6 residents. Again, I don't want to speak on their timeframes, but they're estimating probably 12 months for that entire process to happen. But once the formal letter comes back, the agreement between the town and them, they're going to supply a document that has a better time frame on their procedures, with a point of contact on their behalf as well.
Will we be dealing with the same people we're dealing with now, or will it switch to a federal, Washington DC person? A year seems a long time considering it's been in the works for so long.
Right.
I know you're just reporting what you heard, but.
Yeah, I really can't explain their timeframe. They wanted to be conservative as well. Obviously, the money's been dedicated and earmarked for this project. But apparently because of logistics and environmental items, there's a lot of boxes that need to be checked.
And they're confident that it's been dedicated and earmarked and it'll still be there?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions for Mark? Thank you for the update, Mark.
Upcoming appointments, Sewer Use Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy as an alternate member for a 3-year term. Sewer Use Board of Review, an appointment to fill a vacancy as a regular member for the 3-year term. Tax Assessment Board of Review, appointment to fill a vacancy for a 3-year term. School Building Committee, architectural, engineering, construction experience needed. Recreation Committee, appointment to fill a vacancy for a 3-year term. Patuxent River Authority, appointment to fill a vacancy for an unexpired term ending June of 2026. Planning Board appointment or reappointment of our 5-year term, just filled tonight. Upcoming Town Council meetings and events, August 12th of 2025, regular Town Council meeting, September 2nd, 2025, regular Town Council meeting, September 16th of 2025, regular Town Council meeting. Public forum.
Public comment, before we go into public comment, I just want to ask the chief, I just to show Mary Beth, we did get the TSC meetings up to a year ago when Major Blaze moved on from traffic, so we're not getting that anymore. So if we can make sure that,
Unless they haven't been meeting, which is.
yeah, that could be a
No,
possible.
we have been meeting and while Councilman Dennison spoke about not receiving the emails, I looked back at my emails to try to see if I could see if they've been sent to the town council. But it looks like the email that I'm getting doesn't have the group email. So I'll be sure that Major Ketchum includes the members of the town council along with the traffic safety committee meeting, because obviously when I was the major, I made sure that the town council was on board with that. So I don't know if there was an error in miscommunication there when Major Ketchum took over from Major Archibald, but I'll make
You've
sure
had
that.
a couple of changes in the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
but I will
absolutely.
ensure first thing tomorrow morning that I meet with Major Ketchum and we'll be sure that the town council is well aware ahead of time of any traffic safety committee input from whatever the source is.
Thank you.
I did-
Yeah, no council member can be blindsided.
I did, Major Ketchum, we did have a long conversation. We did meet out there with him.
I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same
Not a
page
slight-
and everybody's getting the information at the same time. I mean, we strive for that. We don't like, I don't like to be, kind of blindsided and I know members of the town council did. Certainly it wasn't done with any ill intent or any malice.
I don't think so at all.
I'll meet with Major Ketchum tomorrow. We'll make sure.
If I can tell you that Major Ketchum and I go back and forth on email quite a bit. He's super responsive. He's always right there.
Yeah, I'll make sure that you're included in the traffic safety committee meeting agendas and the minutes from the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, public comment. Just come on up, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Holly LePage Dexter and I live at 26 Rita Street in West Warwick. I am a resident here in the town of West Warwick and I've owned a home here for 20 years. And as many of you probably know, the staff at Butler Hospital has been on a wall-to-wall strike for 62 days now, 62. I've worked at Butler Hospital for 17 years. I love my job and my patients. We are healthcare workers. We're not thugs or troublemakers. We are showing up in numbers just to emphasize the small portion of the impact that this strike has had on Rhode Islanders. So we are here today to ask you, Mary Beth Williamson, Vice President of the West Warwick Town Council, who also holds a seat on the Board of Directors at Butler Hospital, to please just encourage Mary Marin, the President and COO of Butler Hospital, to sign the contract that is in their hands so that we can return to work and I can continue to pay my property taxes to the town of West Warwick. And that is all.
Those we do today, or just.
Would love to.
The end of the month. Yes,
They're paid, they're paid.
Yeah.
I would like to.
You do have to the end of the month.
I didn't pay mine yet, so.
I didn't pay mine either, so. Yeah.
Mail. So that is why we are showing up and that's why we showed up last
And
week. We
your
just-
passion, I understand that, and I hear what you're saying. I did talk to the other members of the council to let people know you would be here. Some of the things I heard, well, what does that have to do with West Warwick? But I understand why you're here, and you have been very well behaved. You were put through a lot last time, and some people thought that was staged. That was not staged. We were frustrated as anybody else, weren't we, Jeff? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, yes.
that is
He's
why
our
I'm-
tech guy, yes, so I hear you and encourage both sides to continue to work in good faith, and I understand that, so.
Thank you. We've been trying to reach all of the members of the board just to.
And I
get-
am
we want-
aware
we
of
need to
that
get
as
back to
well.
work.
Yes.
And we wish you a lot of luck because we know.
Butler
here
is
in
an
Rhode Island-
amazing,
Yeah.
Butler is an amazing, Care New England is an amazing organization, and Butler is a very critical part of that.
Butler
So
Hospital is the only psychiatric hospital in the state, so it is affecting many, many Rhode Islanders that were out.
mental
out
health
of work
is
right now.
a huge issue here in Rhode Island and everywhere else. So I completely understand that. And again, I applaud the method. You sit here and somebody said you were Laker fans, but I don't know if that's true. The purple.
Purple is our union
Yes,
color.
yes, okay. So thank you for the way you presented it, and I hear you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your attention to the matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And wish you luck. Any other public comment? Yeah. Are we going to an executive session?
Yes.
Any other public comment? Just state your name and address for the record.
So my name is Amanda Flynn, and actually technically I'm homeless. I'm residing with my dad currently, but I was displaced with the assistance of the West Warwick Police, which I am extremely upset about. I brought pictures that I'd like for you guys to pass around, if you would. So I just heard you say that, you know, it can never come at the expense of a resident. Yeah, West Warwick residents suffered tremendously at the hands of slumlords like I had, who I reported appropriately for lead paint, refused to replace a refrigerator, left me with a refrigerator on my porch. A disabled mom refused to bring it up 2 flights of stairs. Like, I bought things the way I was supposed to. I withheld rent, went all the way up through the Supreme Court. And unfortunately, I was met on January 22nd, which was the coldest day of the year at the time, with 2 constables, Michael and Shirley Cares. Michael and Shirley Cares, who is not, they're not unfamiliar to the police or you guys as constables. And they sprung up and pushed my daughter and I into our home, like a home invasion, pushed us into our home. Didn't knock, didn't say, hey, hello, we're the constables, you know, you're gonna have 48 hours or anything of the sort, just pushed us into our homes, occupied our home, and refused to leave. And then proceeded to call the West Warwick Police and say that we were irate and we were arguing. Yeah, I was irate. I was upset. These people were suddenly in our home with my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter and I, and refused to leave and calling the police. Typically, they had, and the way that the Constables Association or whatever, it's recommended that they give 48 hours notice. That is, there's a YouTube video by Mike and Deb Clement. where they talk with Nexus Property about how, you know, it's recommended you give 48 hours notice. It was the dead of winter. We had 2 residents in Rhode Island that died from exposure, and they were completely okay with putting my daughter and I out on the street. I had prepared, because again, I had fought all the way through the Supreme Court. I had prepared, I bought boxes. I have a friend who works for UPS. She was bringing me boxes. I was prepared. If I had that 48 hours notice that was recommended, we were ready to pack our things and move. I talked to my church and I said, hey, if this comes down and they slap a sticker on my door, I'm ready, like, we gotta go. Can you guys help us? And they were ready to do that. But we weren't afforded that. And there was a reason for that. Before the ink was even dry on the writ on this order, they were at our front door again, pushing us in, refusing to leave, calling the police, saying that we were arguing. And the reason that they didn't wait the 48 hours is because they were afraid that I was going to go to the courthouse and say, hey, it's the dead of winter. I have a 15-year-old. Can we have a month? And these poor landlords who, let's face it, like, you know, landlords are charging astronomical amounts of rent for crap apartments. It happens. And the courts are siding a lot of times with the residents and saying, hey, you can give them a month. And they know darn well that the proper procedure is that the constable, if a person refuses to move, refuses to leave, and is met with a, you know, that civil court order, they're to return back to the court. Again, this Mr. Clementi is on YouTube saying that, you know, they have to, the police were telling them that they have to go back to court and get a criminal trespass. That's the way that things are supposed to go. That's not what happened. And I didn't know, and my daughter didn't know. We were just caught unaware and were put outside of our home. And it was not right. I would hope that the police would look at us and say, hey, you know, even if it were legal, you know, for them to put us out, that our police in our town where I've lived for 44 years, I paid taxes, I don't have a criminal record, I'm a good person, I don't, you know, I'm a good person, I've lived here my whole life, like, that the police would say, yeah, you know what, we're not gonna help with this, we're not gonna do this. And Mike Clement got on YouTube and said, this is the wild, wild west, this is what you police officers, you landlords, you better get on the phone with that chief of police and tell him that he needs to help us. He needs to come out here and help us displace these people. And apparently that's what happened. They know that it's against people's civil rights, what they did. And I think that the town, in Mr. Clement's opinion, the town feared civil rights, you know, like 1983 lawsuits, and rightfully so. But now for some reason, the police don't fear that. They don't fear that people are gonna sue. My daughter and I, we lost everything. We lost our beds. I shared with Councilman Goslin. I mean, I have one pair of sneakers. I have one pair of slip-on sneakers. I had one outfit. The only person who was really great to us was your animal control officer. He was fantastic, and he came in and helped us get our cats together and get them out of the house. But these constables come in, and there's only 10% of them out of 180 in the whole state that will perform these evictions, because it's not right. They came in, they occupied our house, they refused to leave. I said, let me call the landlord, let me call the the attorney, let me figure this out. Like, I can do this in 48 hours. I was prepared. I can get out of here in 48 hours. Just give me the time. And they refused to do it. I had the rent money. I said to the constable, I have the rent money. He said, the landlord doesn't want that. He wants this, meaning he wanted them to violently remove us from our apartment. And there was a reason for that, because I came to the town and I complained about the refrigerator that he wouldn't fix. The pictures are there. You can see, like, you know, the ceiling was caving in. I did the right thing. I withheld the rent. Where is the rent money now? That's a great question. They took all of our stuff. It was up in the apartment. I could have given it to them. They refused. They said, no, he wants this. So I'm coming to you guys to, I've had, communication with, Attorney, Williamson and, President Goslin, and I'm very upset that this was done to me in my hometown, which it's very upsetting. I had left an abusive relationship. I've known Dave a long time. I left an abusive relationship. I rebuilt my home from nothing. What you guys see for pictures there, I rebuilt that in the last 4 years. I graduated from Roger Williams University recently. I fought through all of this, and to have it taken, put in storage, put into storage, a storage unit, who even knows if the stuff is even there anymore? It was converted. It was taken by Joneses Moving, who was lying in wait for us to arrive home. And they turned it over. I spoke with Kevin from Jones's Storage. They turned it over to some other consumer's storage or something like that. And they have a well-known history of taking people's things, selling them. Our bearded dragon was apparently sold to a local reptile store by the constable. I had an entire prescription of narcotic opioids that were stolen, that the constable, she said, oh, I assume the mover put it into the personals box, and the officer that was there that day said, you'll have to go through the boxes and look for them. And Constable Care said, they only go for $3 a pop anyway. How the hell did you know that? I don't know what narcotics go for. That's a problem. These people shouldn't be able to operate and have police reinforcement, come out and give that assistance. It was a civil matter. So at that point, it was up to them to go back to the court and say, hey, they're not gonna leave. We need a criminal trespass. So that's what I came here to say tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. And I know the council, I've tried to keep abreast of the situation. I know you did do a formal complaint. And as a council person, at the time, your council person, I sent it to our attorney, our town manager, and our police chief to look into. I know it's still being looked into. So hopefully we get some answers soon, whether it's answers you're looking for or not, I don't know. But, I understand what you're talking about with rents. I think we've talked about that numerous times. And, it's a tough situation to deal with. And, unfortunately, when a court orders something, it's a very tough, difficult position.
But again, it was a court order for it was a civil matter. So there, at that point, they take it back to a civil court judge and say, we need a criminal. There was no jurisdiction for the police to come in and assist with that. It was a writ for possession of property. We are also judgment proof. And the attorney Steve Conti knew that. And the constables knew that. We're judgment proof, we're in form of pauperous because I'm poor. I have, that's why they did this the way they did. And I'll let you know that what happens is on July 22nd will be 6 months. They can then auction my things off. So you're talking days from now. And guess who gets first dibs on all of my property? The attorney, Steve Conti. So, it's not for lack of trying to, find solutions for this what I expected that day was for the police to come out and, I said, I'll call the police, and the constable said, that's all right, we already called them. You're arguing with us. Yeah, I'm arguing with you. And I said this to Dave. If he came out to my home and came into my house and was arguing with me, and he called the police and said, I'm in Amanda's home and she's arguing with me, the police would say, by right, all right, Dave, get out of her house, problem solved, right? So then at that point, that's what should have happened. They should have left and gone and gotten a criminal trespass order. And that's the proper procedure for how it goes. The landlord turned around and gave all of my food, all of my pans to his kids. My things that I paid for that I can't afford to replace, gave them to his kids. You know, this is criminal behavior this is conversion. They're converting my belongings to a place that, there's a way that things are supposed to go, and they did not. They didn't do that. It was criminal behavior. They stole my narcotic medication. That's criminal behavior. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Any other public comment? Hearing none.
Motion to move into executive session.
Second.
Move and seconded. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Shut it down. Yeah.